Good morning, everybody. I'd like to call the 2026 Cavendish Town meeting to order. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michael Ripley, and I'll be your moderator for the meeting. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, just some basic reminders about how we govern the meeting. We meet to come together to discuss different points on decisions that we'll make about our community. Please remember that we are all advocates for our points, our positions, but we are all neighbors, and in the end, we all have to live together. Please don't make accusations or refer to somebody negatively. Please remember there's an immense gap between saying I am right and I believe I am right. Okay? All of our neighbors are good people. We all want what's best for the town. And in the end, caring for each other is far greater than any differences we could have. For all the articles that we'll be discussing today, we'll be voting on by an Australian ballot. That means I'll read them, ask if there are any questions. Remember, we can't make any motions or amendments or take action on them, as they're going to be voted on Tuesday when you go to the polling. If you'd like to speak, please raise your hand, wait for me to recognize you. Come up to the microphone so the people at home can hear you, and you can speak or ask any questions you want to ask. If you have questions for another person other than a board member, please ask them through me. And if you've spoken on a motion once, I may wait to call on you again to make sure everybody else has had their turn, and then call on you. According to Robert Rules of Order, there are two things that happen occasionally here at town meeting that aren't supposed to happen unless we all agree that they can happen. One of them is that you are only allowed to speak on one issue twice. After that, I can't call on you anymore. But there are a lot of people in the room who have lived in town a long time and have a lot of history and know a lot of things that a lot of us aren't pertinent to. So unless there's any objections, I'd like to allow people to speak as many times as they want. Are there any objections to this? Okay. Also, Robert Rules of Order say that only registered voters can speak. There may be people who have yet registered to vote because they're new to town or just haven't gotten around to it, and I'd like to be able to allow them to ask questions or speak at the meeting. Is there anybody who objects to that? Thank you. Is there anybody here for the first time? Welcome. And if you don't mind, I'd like to take a moment of silence to remember all those people who were with us last year but aren't with us anymore.
Mr. Moderator,
Rolf.
could you do something about the public address? This is very difficult for everybody.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Rolf. It's not my venue. Does that raise up? All right, is this better?
Gotta get the mic closer to you.
You shut it off. All right, how's this? A little better? Okay. So now you're getting feedback. All right, let's try it again. I'd like to take a moment of silence for those people who were with us last year but are not with us anymore. Thank you all. All right, so let's go through the warning. Oh, wait, before I do that, one of our representatives here would like to speak to us briefly. about, or answer any questions that you have. Representative Coffin?
Thank you. Try to use your microphone.
Please.
Mike. Hello. Thank you all for being here. First, just a brief legislative update. We're still working on trying to refine or get any parts of Act 73 of the school finance reform done. The education committees, both House and Senate, have been working hard on that. We have gotten some work done toward housing this year, and also healthcare, the healthcare committees. I'm in House Government Operations and Military Affairs, and some of the things we just moved out of our committee that are going to the House floor are an omnibus bill for safety, for firefighters, for our police departments. We have another bill that has just gone out, which is an alcohol omnibus bill. It combined 5 different bills together, which are to help strengthen our smaller breweries, our microbreweries, our wineries, the businesses that they're trying to get going, to make regulations a little bit easier for them. Housing reform to make it easier for houses to be built. Good news, the CHIP program, if you hadn't heard, has been fully funded, which is for infrastructure, can be used for towns, but also by individuals, so that if you're building housing, to make it easier. We're working on Act 181 reform so that the state isn't controlling your lands that are listed as Tier 3. If you want them in protection from building on them, you can still do that. If you want to be able to build another house on your land, provided the infrastructure's there, it'll make it easier. We've been working on trying to get the road rule repealed. If you're not aware of what the road rule is, anything over 800 feet of driveway, which would include a private road and the driveway and your parking area, would be considered in that 800 feet from the roadside. Would need an Act 250 permit right now. By removing that, it wouldn't. But I can answer any other questions offline or to the side. I'll be here until noon. But what I want to do, and one of the great pleasures I get to do, and I know she's not here right this moment, but I'm going to read this anyway, because I had a choice of doing this up at the State House or doing this in front of the people of the town, her friends. Margot, I hope you're online to hear this. The State of Vermont House of Representatives, in a concurrent House resolution, HCR 216, offered by myself, and then in the Senate, Senator Clarkson, Senator Major, and Senator White. The House concurrent resolution honoring Margot Caulfield for her exemplary and enormously appreciated volunteer leadership in the town of Cavendish. Whereas, for some Vermonters, admired civic service means appointment or election to a public office, and for others, this status is earned through a history of volunteerism, and whereas a shining example of the latter category is Margot Caulfield of Cavendish, whose community involvement encompasses the town's past, present, and future. And whereas, from a historical perspective, Margot Caulfield manages the Cavendish Historical Society Museum, curating the collection, initiating history projects for students, and relatedly leading grave cleaning excursions to familiarize youngsters with the town's history. And whereas, in a contemporary context, she helps coordinate Cavendish's Green Up Day program, recently assisted in starting a successful summer farmers market, organized a popular townwide tag sale, and with friends reinvigorated and enlivened the Vermont Golden Honey Festival. And whereas an unusual project Margot Caulfield spearheaded is Culvert Crawlers, an undertaking conducted with older students to improve the town's water flow efficiency. I know some of you have seen her out there cleaning ditches with the students. Whereas following both the devastating flooding from Tropical Storm Irene in 2011 and July 2023 deluge, Margot Caulfield was an essential leader in the effort to ensure that food and shelter were available as needed. Thinking ahead, she worked with local church to equip a shelter in anticipation of future environmental emergencies. As a further precaution, she distributes go bags in Cavendish containing essential items for use in future disaster situations. And whereas Margot Caulfield is a passionate advocate for Cavendish's seniors and others in need of community support, and for the extension of internet service to sections of town lacking digital coverage, and whereas the residents of Cavendish are kept abreast of municipal and state news, emergency information, and local importance via Margot Caulfield's weekly Cavendish Connects, which she distributes via email, Facebook, and a website. Now, therefore, it be resolved by the Senate and the House of Representatives that the General Assembly honors Margot Caulfield for her exemplary and enormously appreciated volunteer leadership in the town of Cavendish, and be it further resolved that the Secretary of State be directed to send a copy of this resolution to Margot Caulfield. Countersigned by Jill Krowinski, Speaker of the House, and the President of the Senate, Lieutenant Governor John S. Rogers, attested to by Betsy Ann Rask, the Clerk of the House. I know there's a lot of people that also involved in that, but Margot has been such a key. We wanted to honor her from the State House.
Very nice.
And she's,
She's busy. I believe she's on.
but I want to give this, in case I'm not here to hand it to her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir. All right, let us begin. This is a town meeting warning for Saturday, February 28th of 2026 at 10 o'clock a.m. The legal voters of the town of Cavendish and the county of Windsor are hereby notified and warned to meet at the Cavendish Town Elementary School or via Zoom on Saturday, February 28th, 2026 at 10 o'clock a.m. and then at the Proctorsville Fire Department at 10 o'clock in the forenoon on Tuesday, the third day of March, 2026, to transact the following business. Article number 1, to elect town officers for the ensuing year. Does everybody have a copy of the book so they can see what that looks like? Should be in the back of the book on page 78. Does anybody have any questions on that? Go up to the mic so the people at home can hear you too.
I have a good voice.
The Zoom doesn't catch it if you're not at the mic.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying, the people at home. We all love your voice, by the way.
curious, because I didn't see the warning in the paper there, the Vermont Journal, so I was wondering where, and that was our paper record, so I was wondering, it didn't have to be?
Distributed by the due date within so many days of town meeting.
Okay.
We're not
Yeah, 'cause
required
we used to do
unless,
that, and then so I didn't, I was like,
we only have to do that if we fail to get the town report out on time.
okay,
Some towns do it anyway.
yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions concerning Article 1? Then I will move on to Article 2. It's my favorite article. To see if the town will vote to collect all taxes on real and personal property for which it has statutory taxing authority in installments. Taxes collected by the town are to be paid to the treasurer on August 15th, November 15th, February 15th, and May 15th, with interest of 1% per month added to any tax principal balances due and not paid by the quarterly due date. The final due date for all tax principal balances is the 15th day of June, after which they shall become delinquent and are subject to an 8% penalty in addition to the interest. If any payment due date falls upon a day that the treasurer's office is not officially or is officially closed, payments then due will be accepted without penalty or interest added if received by 4:30 p.m. the next business day. Amounts allocated to current year taxes under the state's Vermont's Homestead Property Tax Income Sensitivity Program shall be applied to the taxpayer's property tax installments pro rata, meaning the total adjustment divided equally by all quarterly installments. This is in accordance with 32 VSA 6066 AF1.
Mr. Moderator, I rise, and I apologize, it took me a while to get all the way up here. I have a comment and a question about the first article. Because there are so many of the elections that are blank, I wonder if there is anyone who is at this meeting who would like to speak to a possible write-in campaign for any of those.
I'm going to save that for the end.
Oh, okay. In which case, thank you.
See where it says Article number 9, any other business? Okay, I was just going to save it for then. Okay. Are you advocating for yourself at some point?
Decidedly not.
Okay, if everybody doesn't know that's Abe Gross, write him in for, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Are there any questions about Article number 2? Seeing none, we will move on to Article number 3. Article number 3, will the voters adopt the fiscal year 2026-2027 town budget as proposed by the Board of Selectmen in the amount of $2,724,654? Any questions about the budget? Sir?
Good morning. I should say that I apologize in advance if the matter I wanted to raise or the question I wanted to ask has already been dealt with by the Select Board and is minuted, but perhaps this is not such a bad moment to air it again. I had about 3 questions, so I don't want to kind of hog the microphone, but the first one is about the wages, salaries for the road crew. I note that we're proposing to reduce the wages and salaries bill quite substantially, particularly in the summer, and instead, or as well, increase the budgeted amount for overtime. So my question is, are we reducing those wages by cutting hours or cutting wage rate? That's one question. The second question related to that is, do we have the employees on board with that? Because I guess I would be concerned if we're cutting their wages and salaries and, kind of asking them to be more flexible and just, I mean, I can see the logic of it from like a fiscal point of view, but are we concerned about the possibility of, damaging retention and recruitment? Can you guys hear me? I'll try to speak louder. I don't know if you can hear me, but I can address that. The way I put it, or we put it in the budget, is just different. It's kind of to clean it up a little bit.
The wages and overtime were kind of one line item before. That's why you can see there's really no overtime in the past. So to be more transparent, I tried to get the actual salaries in there and then an overtime number after that. It's not a decrease, it's actually a 5% increase for the employees. So there's not a decrease for them. Which kind of answers question number 2. They're kind of on board with that, so.
Thank you very much. My second question, and this just, again, may be my ignorance because this may occur every year, but it just seemed as though we had a very high number for delinquent taxes in the current year we're now carrying. I just wondered, is that normal and just reflects the fact that we're still collecting that as we go into the next budget period, or is that something we should be concerned about?
So that number kind of skyrocketed over COVID, I believe. I wasn't here during COVID, but I think it kind of went up. I think last year we did end up collecting close to $80,000 worth of delinquent taxes. So we are collecting that as we go forward and anticipating doing the same through whether it's agreements or tax sales, but we are, it's not working at all?
Not really.
It's just over there. I don't know if that answered your question fully or not, but we are collecting them as we go. I believe it's down this year compared to last year and should continue to hopefully keep going down.
I did have one subsidiary question about that. Listed on the list of delinquents was something called Cavendish Town of. I mean, is that just like a late installment that the town will be paying? How is that?
So the Cavendish Town of used to also be listed as the Norton property. It's been the town of Cavendish, titled to the town of Cavendish since 2016, I believe. So you'll notice that even in this report that the number for the taxes on that has gone down significantly as well. Reason being is when the town doesn't tax itself. So these taxes that are still listed here is what was owed when the town took possession of the property. The number that had continued to climb has been abated because those were taxes that we were taxing ourselves.
Does that mean that we're just listing it for kind of the sake of propriety, but it's actually a defunct debt that we're not expecting to collect?
No, we're going to expect to collect it one way or the other, whether we sell the property or something like that. It'll be collected in that way.
Okay, thank you. Very last question. It's just a question about how what is the process for approving appropriations for external organizations? I mean, we have several articles here where we're voting on those, but I forget which page it is. We have, it's page 50. We have quite a lot of others that we are making appropriations for. Now, are those ones that we've approved in prior years and they just keep rolling over? And if the sum sometimes goes up, for instance, we're proposing to make a much larger contribution to Windsor County Mentors, which I'm sure is a very worthy cause, but do we not need to vote on increasing the appropriation? Because there's no article for that. So it's really just a question about, when do we approve these appropriations, and why do we have articles for some and not for many of them?
So due to the way the budget and the process and timeline works out, we have a deadline of November 30th for any appropriations and people asking for appropriations. That allows the select board to discuss it through budget meetings and to see whether it's going to be put into the budget. Anybody after December 1st or after, then we say we don't have adequate time to discuss that, and we can put it on the town article to be voted on individually. And some of these we have, done last year that just didn't make the cutoff of December 1st. So it does go forward like that year after year. Most people know our deadline and get them in before that.
Any other questions on the budget, Article 3?
Tim, in case you don't know. A few questions. I had one, I would wonder what the explanation is for the building maintenance increase, which was about 16,000, so.
What page are you on, George?
What page you
What
on?
page?
Oh,
you on?
sorry. That's page 22. My eyes are getting, and, down on the bottom of the town office.
So
Went from
on 20, there's a different,
Almost 3 to 17, almost 18,000.
the detail this year, you'll see there's a little different format to the town report. Our new auditor put department totals in the beginning and detail is in the back. So if you're looking at building office maintenance, okay, town building office maintenance, 17,950.
Okay, I know what that is.
You know what that is?
I believe, and I'm going to go to the actual breakdown, but I believe new cameras for the town office was added there, into that. That's a new item
office cameras.
this year, was town office cameras, so.
14,500 was put in for the,
Oh, is this surveillance camera?
Correct, yes. Security cameras, yep.
Not just the camera, is it? That's just the camera.
That's multiple cameras in the wiring and installation and the cloud service for the year, yeah.
All right.
The same, it's actually the same as we have at the town garage.
So the other thing was, I guess I know you're trying to consolidate things, and under the general services, same page, was you combined the animal control and police and legal. I guess, is that the same thing where the breakdown is somewhere buried in the back? Otherwise, we don't have a clear sense of how much is for each one, which it was always separated before.
49, the detail, yeah.
And what else? The budget is up 10%, which is quite hefty.
Yep. So I was going to address that as well. It is up 10%, but I do want to note that if you look at page 22, you'll see we had $142,498 surplus from last year. So that surplus was added to the budget in like one-time addition to capital equipment, as well as fully funding the recreation department, and the addition of a line item for community enrichment of about 5,000. But the majority of that went for a one-time boost to the capital equipment. So the actual budget needing to be raised would be 5% because of that $142,000 surplus.
Okay, so that's where that surplus, because I noticed that, we've always voted on the surplus, and
So,
I saw that the select board decided on what to do with it, but I didn't really understand it here.
so you have the option really of, putting it into the budget like that, or if it goes to the voters, if you want to put that into like a special fund, then it would definitely have to go in front of the voters, yeah. I'll sit down.
Let's look at page 51. And, this, first of all, I should apologize for not doing total due diligence on this. I'll probably feel stupid after I ask my question. On page 51, under the case maximum 110 protractor, we're showing $25,000 worth of attachment parts. So when I read that, it struck me that depending on what those parts are and why we're getting them, that maybe that should come under the capital equipment fund rather than be a budget item. Of course, we're not going to change that now at this point, but that then led me to say, I wonder how much is in the capital equipment fund, and I couldn't find that anyplace. Maybe I've just, like I say, I haven't really spent enough time on it. And I did recognize that you had increased the capital equipment fund this year significantly, and all I can say to that is amen. Good job for that. So that's all I got to say.
So I can easily, address that 25,000. That's a big jump. Last year, I put in $7,500. The mower on that tractor is just dangerous and unable to be used, really. So I thought we were going to be able to fix that, get it working again, but there's no fixing to it. A new whole mower is very expensive, but for right around the 25,000, we can do just a new mower deck and and put new bushings in the arm itself, and we'll get a lot more life out of it. But I decided to put it in the budget itself versus the capital equipment. But that's what that's for, is I don't even believe we could use that mower until we get that attachment on there.
And capital equipment, the treasurer's funds are laid out on page 19.
And yes, on page 19, you can see the different funds.
It's 123,096 at 6/30/25.
So the total of June 30th, 2025 was $123,096. I can tell you I just priced out a new truck. I got a phone call yesterday that there's one available, and it's $305,000. So 123 sounds great, it just doesn't get you as far as you'd hope.
Any other questions or comments on Article 3? And we'll move on to Article 4. Shall the voters of the town of Cavendish adopt subdivision regulations? Tim, please.
Good morning, everybody.
Tim, do you want to face everybody? It might be easier for you. Sure.
My name's Tim Calabrese. I'm chair of the Planning Commission here. And in 2023, the town saw an increase in development during COVID. And we discussed developing subdivision regulations. The Planning Commission did. So we went to the Select Board. They said, go ahead and develop some draft regulations. And we had an open forum in April of 2024 to go over some draft regulations that we developed. And we had some comments. We addressed those. And we had another open forum in 2025, last year. A few more comments, and then we had our final draft presented. We went through Planning Commission hearing, and then 2 select board hearings. And I'll go over briefly what the regulations entail. There's 2 categories for subdivision. There's a minor subdivision, which is creating 3 lots or less, and that includes the existing lot, so you could spin off 2. And then a major subdivision is the creation of 4 or more lots from the original lot. And basically, the purpose of subdivision regulations are, the main priority is protection of property values. I've seen in my line of work, properties being developed, roads being built, sites being cleared. If not thought out properly and executed properly, can have a negative impact on neighboring properties, such as flooding. There's a lot of things. We're very conscious of trying to make this as simple as possible for people trying to subdivide a piece of land for their family. So basically, in the regulations, we've stated that any of the regulations can be waived if they don't affect the purpose of the subdivision regulations. So, and that's about it. I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions. I'd encourage you to, if you're dead set against subdivision regulations, you don't like any land use regulations, then, don't vote for them. But I think all in all, it's going to help the town, and we've tried to make them simple enough. I'll say one more thing. For a minor subdivision, basically, it's an administrative application. You don't have to go in front of the Development Review Board, which most likely would be the Planning Commission. It would be an administrative permit, and then you're on your way. In terms of getting the information, there's various methods. Like for a map, you can go to the Vermont Geographic Information System and download a map. There's a sketch plan review before you have to spend any money on sewer and wastewater permits, et cetera, that you can either, like for a minor, you can present it to the administrative officer. If it's a major, you can come to the Planning Commission, Development Review Board, and get their comments. So that's about it. If anybody has any questions.
I have one.
Sure.
Who's the Development Review Board?
It could either, the select board could either have a separate DRB, or it could be the Planning Commission.
Hello.
Hi there.
Rachel, I just have a quick question. Where can I find more details about the proposal? Like, what is the minimum, like, if you have 1 acre of land, is the minimum build site half an acre?
The subdivision regulations, it
Yeah.
does not control how large the lots are. It doesn't control the use in terms of, if you want to put a business in, that would be zoning. So there's no limit as to the size of the lot.
Where can I find,
Regulations on the town website.
okay, all right.
We also, we might have a copy or two up here too.
Oh, good.
If you want one before you leave, come see
Okay.
me.
Yeah, thank you.
Sometimes when you're served a meal, you don't like what you're eating, but you appreciate the effort that went into it. And sometimes when you're eating a meal, you really like it, and you still appreciate the effort that goes into it. I think regardless of how you feel about the particulars of the subdivision regulations, that we are incredibly appreciative of the Planning Commission's hard work over these past 2 years to get to putting something in front of us that we can read and taste and decide to vote on. And so I want to thank you, and I invite other people to affirm that. I can't see all the Planning Commission.
Thanks, Abe. Thanks, everybody.
Just to be clear, clear, this does not preclude still filing everything with the state and paying that, right? Right.
You still have to get a wastewater, water supply permit from the state.
Right, and then subdivide.
Yeah, yes.
And has any fee structure been figured out? I know we talked about that, and you were going to do something, so I didn't know if that had, what people would be paying.
There's been no fee structure that was actually voted on and approved, but we had tentative just to give people. So no fee structure has actually been approved by the select board. It would be set by the select board. But we did, during one of the public hearings, kind of have an idea what it would look like so people would know what they're talking about. So kind of roughly where we land is like the sketch plan review that Tim was talking about is a $100 application fee to come in, talk and do the sketch plan. A minor subdivision is around $100 for each lot. A major is $100 for each lot plus the $150 for the hearing fees, the cost to advertise for the hearing. And then, of course, the Mylar recording fees of $25 and the regular normal recording fees of $15. So that's kind of tentative, but it's not set. So we wanted to make sure that everybody knew that, yes, there is a cost to it, but it's not outlandish. And of course, this cost also doesn't include anything else you would need, whether you'd need a survey and what those fees are.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay.
Any other questions about Article 4? Then let's move on to Article 5. Shall the voters of the town of Cavendish appropriate a sum of $2,500 to the Okemo Valley Technical Rescue to support their operations? Again, by Australian Valley.
Hand that man a microphone.
We appropriated, put this on the ballot because they came in so late. And so knowing they had a year to come before the board and ask for this, I was just curious why this one ended up on here and didn't go through the other appropriations we would usually do.
This year.
It came in past the due date again.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And just to be perfectly in line with everybody and treating everything the same, we just went hard with that deadline, and it would have to be on the ballot, so.
Any other questions about Article 5? Then we'll move on to Article 6. Shall the voters of the town of Cavendish appropriate a sum of $500 to the Vermont Red Cross to support their operations? No questions about Article 6? Then we'll move on to Article 7. Article 7, shall the voters of the town of Cavendish appropriate a sum of $3,000 to the Black River Senior Center to support their operations?
I need to-
Frank is here too. Frank.
Oh, okay. I'll let you take it then, Frank.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Frank Providence. I am a former resident of 25-plus years of Cavendish. I feel like I should talk kind of both ways here, but I currently am and have been for a while a delivery boy guy for Meals on Wheels for the Black River Senior Center, and it is extremely important for this appropriation to the program for a lot of reasons, but the main reason is we just need the funding, and the $3,000 is going to make a huge difference. It's about $11,000 a year that we have to fund one way or another. The state does help with that funding, but at the end of the day, we need to provide $11,000 from the senior center. And just to be clear, it's not for operations. This $3,000 goes directly to Cavendish residents. And that being said, it'll make the difference in continuing meals for our Cavendish community. And so if you could all get behind this, we would all very much appreciate it, and continue to deliver meals to our residents with, you know, just more than handing a meal to someone. It's, you know, I've seen it, it makes their day. Sometimes the delivery person is the only face they see. And we deliver meals 4 days a week. In the past, it was a drop-off at the school, and people had to come pick up the meals. So it's definitely an important part of the program. So I ask you please to appropriate the $3,000 for the Meals on Wheels program. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Any other comments or questions about Article number 7? Then we'll move on to Article number 8. Shall the voters of the town of Cavendish appropriate a sum of $100 to the Vermont Center for Independent Living to support those operations? No questions or comments there. Then we get to Article number 9, to discuss any other business deemed proper when met. So this would be a chance for anybody who wants to be a writing candidate for one of the positions or bring up anything else. Mr. McNamara?
Brendan McNamara, Cavendish Town resident. I haven't said that in a while. I just wanted to take a moment and thank the board, town manager, the office staff for their work this year. I know this is Rick's favorite day of the year, as it is for most of the staff. And we are very fortunate to have a diligent department, office staff, select board, highway, water, wastewater department in this town. And I just want to take a minute. You guys deal with everything every day, as well as going through this time with the budget to put out a productive budget to look out for the town of Cavendish while dealing with everything else. It just needs to say thank you to you guys, because you hear about everything when everything's going bad, but you also need to hear about things when things are going well. I think that's important, so thank you. With that said, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that today is one of those folks' last town meeting, and that would be our town clerk and treasurer, Diane McNamara. I'm going to try not to say Auntie Di, I'm just not. But we are going to lose someone whose dedication very few people realize, you know, and there's some in this room that know what it's actually like to sit in the trenches and be part of a municipal government and what that entails. And we are losing someone well-deserved that has gone far above and beyond. You drive by on a Saturday and Sunday, there are cars in the driveway of the town hall. It's not because she wants to be, it's because she has to be to do what is necessary, to do what is best for this town. So I think it is, you know, I'm talking from my heart because I love you. But thank you for everything and enjoy it. Please do.
For those of you who don't know, Brendan was our town manager for several years and got to work with us on every day. Martha, you had something?
I do. I agree with Frank. This is an awkward position to speak from. Like, I should want to look at them. Okay, my name is Martha Ma. I am a volunteer for Cavendish Streetscapes as well as the Cavendish Community Fund. And I'm here to let you know what these organizations are. In 2018, a group of volunteers came together with a shared vision to beautify our town with flowers, flags, and seasonal decorations. 8 years later, we continue to carry out our mission of volunteers beautifying the community. Thanks to the generosity of many residents, along with the support of the Cavendish Community Fund and the Cavendish and Proctorsville's fire departments, we've accomplished a great deal. I'm going to take just a moment to plug the Cavendish Community Fund too, which maybe a lot of you haven't heard of. We've been around for almost 20 years, have given out 68 grants, ranging from the Proctorsville Fire Department to the school, to stepping stones, most recently to the library. We funded books for every single student for the book sale, which is huge because oftentimes students go in and they don't have money, they can't shop at the book sale. So that's the Cavendish Community Fund. We do have a website, check them out. We do ask for donations. But I'm really here for Cavendish Streetscapes as well. So here's what we've done over the years. We've cleaned and maintained the gardens at Cavendish Town Elementary School, the Proctorsville Green and Civic Park. I want to say hi to Rich Civic at the moment. For our longtime town manager too. And we installed boxes on the bridge. We planted spring flowers on the bridge, on the green, the transfer station, Route 103 by the Cavendish sign, the library, and the school. We planted and maintained summer flowers at the green, the gazebo, the Cavendish post office, the bridge, the school, and the Historical Society. We decorate for fall on the bridge, on the green, the school, and the post office. We decorated for the winter season on the green, including the big tree and gazebo, in collaboration with the Ludlow Women's Club and Ludlow Electric. We've added winter decorations on the bridge. We displayed flags from Memorial Day through Veterans Day with the help of Cavendish and Proctorsville fire departments. They hang the flags for us. This year, the American Legion has generously offered to supply the flags, which is awesome. We've installed seating at the gazebo. We've added benches to the Proctorsville and Cavendish greens with the help of the ARPA funding. We cleaned and repainted the bike rack on the green. We've done new landscaping for the 2 gardens at the school in front of the gym, on the hill, and behind the new parking lot. And I've probably forgotten a few things in there too. To pay for these beautification projects, we've received grants from the Cavendish Community Fund and donations from our generous residents. In addition, for several years, we held the Birds in Bloom sale on the green. We're deeply grateful to everyone who contributed through artistic creations, donations, volunteer time, hands-on help, and encouragement. And a special thanks to the Proctorsville Fire Department for hosting the always popular barbecue during the event. After thoughtful consideration, we believe Birds in Blooms has run its course. This year, we're launching a new fundraising effort by mailing these beautiful postcards to residents. You probably just got one in your mailbox this week. We hope you'll consider donating to us as we continue to beautify our community. In 2025, we officially formed our own nonprofit organization, and we greatly appreciate tax-deductible donations. We do have a donation box out here in the hall, or you can mail them to Cavendish Streetscapes, and the address is on the card. And we have a new QR code to make it easy for you. So we truly appreciate the community support, especially when we hear positive comments about how the flags, flowers, and the seasonal decorations enhance our town. Those kind words motivate us to keep going. And a heartfelt thank you to everyone who's donated time, energy, and financial support. We couldn't do it without you. If you're interested in helping, here are some things we need. Spring park cleanup people. We need help summer watering and weeding. It's easy to plant those flowers, but not so much to keep them going all summer long. We need help with marketing and outreach and miscellaneous projects throughout the year. So if you're interested, you can contact us at cavendishstreetscapes@gmail.com or connect with us on Facebook. You can also speak with some of our volunteers. I may forget a few, I'm going to do my best. Ralph Van Schaik is here today, Bruce McInerney, Doris Eddy is our leader, Julia Janu is here, Lisa Ewald, Carolyn Solzhenitsyn, Mary Ormrod, Maureen Savage, Mary Watkins, Shirley Clark, Catherine Savek. I see Teresa Parker here, Terry McNamara, and Barbara Crosby too, and me, Martha Mott. We welcome new worker bees. Every little bit helps. And in closing, please enjoy the flags, the flowers, the holiday decorations, the benches, the lights, and clean parks throughout our town. Follow us and like us on our Facebook page, and if you see us out there working, smile, honk, and give us a wave.
Thank you, Martha.
Hello, my name is Gabriel Seville. You may remember me from my last year's meeting. I'm here again to talk to you a little bit about my church, Cavendish Baptist, because we're still raising money for this building, and I want to give you an update about how we're doing. Mr. Chambers has talked about how good it is having an emergency shelter in our town. My church also thinks it's a good thing, and we're glad to offer our building to anyone who needs emergency shelter. Our church is a place to go when you can't stay where you are and until you get to a better place. Our challenge is that the costs for our building have outgrown our congregation. Last year, our elevator cost us $5,000, our roof cost us $3,000, our heat and electricity cost us $11,000. Just those three things were more than we paid our pastor. For over 100 years, we've had an endowment for our pastor's pay. Its value is about $450,000. Last year, we started an emergency shelter endowment for our building costs, with the goal of equaling the one for pastoral expenses. The new fund has $5,400. Many of you gave to that money. Thank you. We appreciate it and are grateful for it. But unfortunately, at that rate, we'll reach our goal when I'm 97. We need some bigger gifts to help the endowment be effective sooner. Could you give $100? I know that's a lot, or maybe $1,000. I've never seen that much money before, but maybe God has blessed you that much, or more. Some people have given us real estate. Sharing a large gift like that now, we're sure the church can share with our community in the future. If you can't make a big gift, that's okay. Smaller gifts are also super helpful, especially for immediate costs while we're building the endowment. We've had a few people make new commitments to monthly giving. We could really use a few more. I'd love to see you, but you don't even have to come on Sunday. You can go to our PayPal website. With all of us together, giving what we can, that can make us successful. Thank you.
Mr. White? What? Murphy. I told you I'd forget.
No worries. Good morning. My name is Michael Murphy. I just wanted to provide a brief introduction who I am because I've decided to run as a write-in candidate for the roles of town clerk here and town treasurer. I'm fairly new to Cavendish. I moved here in 2024. I'm in the process of restoring one of the beautiful old buildings on Main Street at the other end of town. My experience, professional experience, has been in the IT industry for the past 35 years or so. Looking for a way to get more engaged with this community, which I very much like. And I just would appreciate your support and your vote on Tuesday for these positions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Anybody else have anything they want to share? Brendan, you don't want to run for anything? You sure?
Can I make a shameless plug?
Can you say a few words about the water situation? Good.
That was where I was going right now. So as you know, it's been unbelievable struggle this year with the water. But I'm not sure if everybody knows this or not, but last week we found a leak that was in a resident's house. We had companies come in looking for a leak, but we did not identify them.
Just count it.
But we did find one, which was losing significant amount of water. I think in all the meetings in the past, you've heard me say that we were producing 113 to 115,000 gallons a day, but we were still losing 10 to 15,000 gallons. It was just unbelievable. We just kept going down and down, and we got to pretty close to critical levels of water in this town. Even the fire department knew that when they went somewhere, if they could, if there was anything close where they could deliver water, they were much better off than hooking up to the hydrants. It was getting dangerous. But since we had turned this leak off last week, even over this busy past weekend, we were still producing that 113 to 115,000 gallons, but we were banking between 20 to 40,000 gallons a day. We were gaining that much more. So that's how much one of these small unnoticed leaks for quite a while, how much damage it was doing. So here's kind of my plug on these water meters that we have. We have water meters that are not installed all throughout town. It's very difficult to coordinate, and we kind of need everybody's help to do that. We need to schedule these meter replacements. They only take 30 minutes to an hour to install one of these. As long as, you know, the valves and stuff in the basement are working correctly, they're not that difficult. These new meters are radio read, where we can drive by and get more information than just the meter reading. We have a lot of meters in town that don't even turn. So if the meter was working there, we might have known that it was leaking, but we would have had to physically walk and read every meter in town. With these new ones, we can drive by and we can get meter readings to see if something's out of the ordinary. They also sense vibration, which is basically a leak. And they can, you know, if you had them, the leak was in the main and you had 3 different meters on houses sensing something, you have an area that you know there could be a leak. And they also tell the temperature. So in this case, I'm assuming that this line over there froze and then burst. It was rather cold winter. We can drive by and it will tell us if that line's frozen. It'll tell us if there's excess water going through it, or it'll be sending the vibration that there is a leak there. So I'm not saying we 100% would have found this leak within 2 days, but there's a very good chance of that. It would have been 2 days, not 2 months, because we didn't notice this leak until it started coming out of the basement windows of somebody's house that was no longer living there. So, and that's a lot of water. And you can find the email for to schedule this meter replacement on the town's website. Currently, it's under the town water update, but I'm going to remove that and put it in its own spot so everybody can just click the email, leave your name, address, and a phone number, and so then they'll get back to you and find a time slot that works best for everybody to, you know, have their meter put in. And we have them all. They're ready to go.
Thanks for that, Rick. Sometimes people need to hear it more than once. So these are free to install, correct?
Correct, yes, they're free.
These will help detect a leak inside and outside the house.
They do, yes, yep,
And you just need to schedule it. That's all we need to do.
correct. Schedule it and be home when they install it.
And the town's paying for it, and it'll help our property values.
Absolutely, yes.
Tim?
The Planning Commission, we're in the process of rewriting the town plan. It's due to expire in 2028. And we're developing a survey that we're going to be sending out soon. You'll all be getting a postcard saying how to fill it out. It's really important that we get input from the town. on how, as we're rewriting this town plan. So, and we'll be discussing it at our monthly meetings probably for the next 2 years. So, your input's very important.
I just have a couple other quick things. The reminder that the reappraisal is going to be starting this summer, this spring probably. You'll get letters and notifications, and, you know, it's still years out. I mean, it's a lengthy process, but it will be starting. And I also want to make sure that everybody knows that at our March 9th meeting, the regular select board meeting, we probably will be discussing police coverage in town. I'm not sure if anybody had the opportunity to go to the joint meeting the other day, but that will be on our agenda for our town alone to talk about. So that'll be on the March 9th agenda. And final for me is I want to kind of piggyback off Brendan on this, and I want to present Diane with a Vermont Public Service Award from the Secretary of State. It's to recognize the 13 years as town clerk and town treasurer. I think we all know she's been here a little longer, but that was as the role of our town clerk. And I think we all owe her a debt of gratitude. It's a difficult job, which she did well, and she worked her tail off for all of us. And for me personally, in my current role, I don't know if I would have been able to do it without her. So for that, I personally thank you, and for whatever you do in the future, I wholeheartedly wish you the best. So thank you.
Thanks. I'm going to be around for a while.
This is not goodbye.
And please don't scare anybody off who's interested in the position. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other business that we need to conduct? Then I need a motion to adjourn. Second?
Who made the motion?
Who made the Abe?
Abe.
Of course. Second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Did I miss it?
Opposed, say nay. The ayes have it.